this is
Brian Cruzan.
Yep. And as far as playing music goes, I started playing music around 18 years old, bought an electric guitar, was really bad at it, just kind of, jamming, listening to songs on the radio that I liked, trying to learn them by ear. And then I somehow ended up being friends with a lot of drummers, so I'd be jamming with people, in high school and college and whatnot. Found other guitar players and just kind of riffing, nothing super serious. And then later, after that, around 2010, I started getting a little more serious, started building a recording studio. And then oddly enough, through a good friend who was studying film at the time, I got into film composing. So sort of a roundabout way of getting into music is kind of interesting. But so I started scoring projects for people that were studying film in college, and then when they got out, started doing independent film, short films, documentaries, and features. So. And throughout all that time, I was producing and learning kind of my own way, making music myself, so producing my own music. But fast forward, years and projects and trying different things. I've got a couple other bands and things that I've done, but Brian and I, we started our band in 2020. But COVID band, yeah. We started a COVID band. Yeah. But why don't you get us up to speed there, Brian?
Yeah. I grew up around music. Both my parents were into music, so I slowly, as a kid, started playing drums and then guitar and keys, and so I've kind of dabbled around in various avenues of music my entire life. A couple years ago, got a little more serious about writing and producing just some music, kind of poppy, singer-songwriter type stuff. And I had moved back to Memphis around 2020. Paul and I knew each other previously, and when I moved back, Paul and I connected, and we did the whole musician thing, like, hey, we should do something sometime. And then he actually got stuff from me, and so slowly we had talked about doing an actual like pop experimental project around both of our areas of interest in music, and so I just started sending him stuff, and some of it was just basic piano and some melody lyrics, and he began producing it, putting some of that cinematic flair into it, and it slowly became quickly actually became a project, which is called Susurra.
Yep.
Which everybody will continue to ask us how to spell and pronounce.
Yep. So we'll just go ahead and Susurra, right? Yeah. Is that how we spell it? Okay.
we both spelled it wrong in text to each other.
So. So that means whisper in Spanish.
Yeah.
It just kind of felt right for what we were. Yeah.
So we released an EP in 2022, summer-ish, and began writing a full length starting in the middle to end of last year. Finished that up at the beginning of this year, released it a month or two ago, and we're still going.
Yeah, we are. That's how we got to where we are, and we're actually, writing new stuff now.
Yeah, we're like 3 songs in.
Yeah, so, we just released a full-length album last in October, so we're already we're excited to get that. It's already out there as far as like digital everywhere, but we're looking forward to playing some live shows. We're hoping to try to get something in by the end of the year. If not, definitely next year. We're going to try to do what we can, work around our schedules, and do as many shows as we can. Maybe some locally. That'd be great if we branch out.
I saw the Rolling Stones are doing a tour next year. So
we'll probably open for them.
We'll probably be opening for that.
Yeah, probably. Is how long I've been doing music individually. I mean, I've been interested in music since I can remember, but actually, like, writing and like trying to play an instrument around maybe like 16 or 17, something like that. Yeah.
I started playing drums when I was 5, so I was pretty much a drummer. I would always make up chord progressions and stuff in my head. But I think I started playing the acoustic guitar when I was in high school, probably 17, 18 years old, when everybody loved Dave Matthews. You know, that was, So that was when I actually started writing songs not well, playing with a few, friends in high school, so around that time.
And I did play saxophone actually in elementary school for like 1 year, and then 6th grade for 1 year, and then I stopped. But I don't really, I was kind of like, is this cool? Back at that age, and then I kind of quit.
Yeah.
But as far as like actually like digging into music because I liked it with an instrument, that happened later. It usually starts with just the studio kind of nerd stuff like just producing the track in the studio. Like when he sends me his session with sort of like, he starts the idea usually. He'll give me something, like he said, it's really been the same process since we started. He'll send me something with vocals, some melodies, keys, something, and it really just diving in, messing with that, adding some instrumentation, just kind of taking it from start to finish, and then we'll sit down and flesh it out at the end. But I think that's what's really exciting, because going from the start to finish and being like, wow, sometimes I'm like, I don't even know, it's not what I thought or whatever, and you're really proud of where it ended up. And then obviously playing live is really cool too, but for me, if I had to put it on one thing, is just the nuts and bolts, figuring it out, the creative flow of things in the studio.
Yeah, I think it's two things. One is live. Like I was telling somebody yesterday, I love just singing into a mic. That whole live feeling, performing is super fun. But then also, the writing process. I think just getting done with a concept, and a lot of times when I get done with it, I don't even know if it's good or where it needs to be. But I love just having this completed, like 3 to 4 minutes of a sound concept, and just like listening to it on repeat. Just listening technically to hear if there's any other melodies that need to change, or what can be added, taken away. But just, it's just that thing of like, you make this thing, and it's, you can't hold it in your hands, but you kind of can. Like, it is a thing, it's a creation that you could just enjoy. So
yeah, and I'm terrible at the social media stuff. He's a lot better at it than I am. But the conceptualizing, like photos and art, album art, and music videos, I really enjoy that as well. It's an extension of the expression of what we're trying to say with the music. So, my answer is not going to be that exciting.
Yeah,
a full-time job,
a
day job. Which I'm not saying that's the answer. It just works for me. I've got a lot of time. My wife travels for work. I do have 2 small kids, so I've got to work that in. But
I have 2 large kids.
He has 2 large kids. I have 2 small kids. But I've got a studio at my house, and I've got a pretty flexible schedule. I work from home some days. I've just been able to carve out time and compartmentalize that well. I get it. Like, I do. There are some aspects of my music where I am able to make money, and I've gotten to the point now where, depending on what it is, I won't do it unless I get paid, especially with the film composing stuff. Depends on who, if it's a friend I've worked with for a long time and I really respect their work. But certain things, obviously with this is a creative project. We can make money on digital sales and merch, and we have put all that stuff out there. And we'll see what the live kind of show will do, if anything. But I've always had a full-time job, so that's not, I'm not saying that's the best answer for any creative person. I also totally understand the importance of like jumping in and doing this full-time and putting everything into it. I feel like that's really important too. It's just not been the lane that I've been in, married with kids and things like that, and was already in a career, already set goals in a separate career, and I've kind of established myself down the road in that. It kind of feels like it'd be a lot to throw away. But that's just kind of my thing. I'll keep doing this as long as I can, and a lot of this is our projects are self-funded as far as this band goes. Like I said, other things I do, there is some income, and that will kind of go into things like this. But yeah, that's for me. So.
Yeah, I've not always had this mindset. I think the older I've gotten and the more life stuff happens, I think when I was younger, there was like this desperation to figure out, how do I write? How do I get out in the world? And like music looked a lot different 15 to 20 years ago. It's a weird like Wild West world now, to where even the historical record label model, like they're looking at independent artists to try to figure out how to do things the right way, because they're struggling to push their own actual artists. And so I think it, like Paul said, it's great if you're able to jump in and do it and go wholeheartedly, and that's like, yeah, go for it. I think we're in a position, I'll speak for myself, like I'm in a place where if I don't write anything for a while, like it's just bubbling up. And so it may be indigestion, but I think it's creativity.
His creativity comes out in a weird way.
But yeah, it's one of those things at this point, like I'm just excited to have, whether it be my kids, grandkids, whatever, like to have this like thing that I've been able to say like, oh, this is mine, that it's out there, it was my creative outlet. And obviously, like we said, we love doing it, love the live aspect of it, and if somehow the opportunity came for it to be full time, that would be amazing. But I think it's also important for it just to be what it is, and like not put too much pressure on it.
Yeah, it's kind of like just wherever you are in life, find a way to make music. Whether that's you're a student, whether you're a supervisor somewhere working some job you don't like, or you're however you can make it, do it. But of course, keep your mental health in check and keep your sanity in check and be healthy as a person. But just if you can fit it into your life wherever you are, that's what I would do. Wow, I feel like there's so much to say there. I guess I'll start on with what has encouraged me. I think I've just been someone that's obsessed with music, and a really like neurotically obsessed with music, and
that's our band.
Yeah, and just art in general. So for me, it's like it's a part of who I am, and I can't not do it. So I'm gonna partake in that some way, whether that's consuming or creating. But I feel like I have to do both. I can't just do one or the other in stages. But for me, I just love it, and it's taken me a while to figure out what I do well and what I don't do well. So with that, it's just, don't get bogged down. Don't worry about don't overthink it. Like, as far as putting music out, I know there's a lot of fear around that, or like because it can be scary to be authentic and put yourself out there. But the best thing you can do is just take steps and actually just do. It doesn't matter if the first thing you put out is heard by 2 people or 100 or 1,000 or whatever. Just doing stuff is the best thing to do. Just take action and move forward with it. Just connect with other people. Find friends and find people that have been doing this longer than you, and figure out what do they do. Like how do they produce this track? What's the sound? Just become kind of a scientist and a nerd about what it is you like and you gravitate towards, and then find people that do things better than you and let them shine and don't get out of the way. That's kind of the basics for me. And obviously there's the financial aspects of it, and it can be, an investment and things like that. It takes time. Like, I've been building my studio for like 13 years. It's not something that happened like over like 3 months, So yeah, just take your time. Be be easy on yourself. You're not going to be a Billie Eilish tomorrow, or whatever your goals are. Find out what your goals are too, and just be patient with yourself and keep doing things. And yeah.
Yeah, I would. Yeah, just to tag on, I get excited by consuming. So if I'm ever in a place where I'm not uninspired, or I've got a season of time where I haven't written anything, just consuming new stuff or the stuff that is inspirational to me always kind of kickstarts my, ooh, I like that, and I want to make something like that. And then just to tag on, I overanalyzed everything I did musically for like 15 years because I was doing it on my own, unsure. And then as soon as I began reaching out to other people, figuring out ways to collaborate more, it's just really good to have a second voice, either to, adjust what you're doing or to confirm what you're doing. Like that can be a lot in itself, just to encourage one to keep going. So.
Mm-hmm.